we've even got.
Do you believe in like a god or like a higher power?
Well, something created the universe. Like, how do molecules have consciousness and feelings? So where along that path from a bunch of hydrogen molecules to humans, where did consciousness start?
What do you worship?
Well, I don't really worship anything, but I do devote myself to the advancement of humanity using technology.
Do you pray?
I don't. I didn't even pray when I almost died of malaria.
Wow, that's really not praying.
Right.
So you put your money where your bug spray was.
Yeah.
Do you have a spiritual life?
Well, it sort of depends on what spiritual means.
So what do you think spiritual means?
I mean, there's certainly things that we don't understand about the universe. But you know, I'm less convinced that there's, say, some super consciousness watching over our every movement and kind of evaluating it against some criteria, you know, and deciding whether we're going to go to one place or another when we die. I think that's unlikely.
Right. I think that's very unlikely, too.
Exactly. I mean, and it does beg the question: if there is some super consciousness, where did the super consciousness come from? So I think the most likely explanation is that complexity evolved from simplicity. You know, that the simple elements over time combined to become more complex and arrived at what we are.
What blows your mind? What gives you awe?
How many people have actually read the Bible?
Fewer than probably say they have, but...
Oh, yeah. I mean...
Do you have
I mean, at one point, I you know, when I was a kid, I was like, I had this existential crisis, and I was trying to figure out what's the meaning of life. And I was like, oh, it all means nothing. It's all... And I you know, read like a whole bunch of religious books, including the Bible, and I'm like, there was a bunch of things in there they didn't teach you in Sunday school. Sodom and Gomorrah, dark. Yikes. Yeah, God sure changes his mind from the Old Testament to the New Testament. I'm like, whoa, that's pretty vengeful in the Old Testament. Maybe we can have a chapter past Revelations. But like, is there a happy ending here? Revelations Part 2, the happy ending?
Well, I think it's more than just exploration. It's actually extending the scope and scale of consciousness, and the length of time that consciousness will exist as we know it is greatly extended by being a multi-planet species. So it is much harder to go and establish a self-sustaining city on Mars than it is to simply explore Mars or go for a visit. I think we need to turn Mars into another planet with life as we know it. And it's the only real possible location in the solar system where that is possible, where that can be done. So only one planet, really, Mars. So if we are able to establish a self-sustaining civilization on Mars, I think this will go a long way towards securing the long-term survival of humanity. And as I said, it would increase the scope and scale of consciousness and would drive the development of new technologies that would ultimately enable us to go further, certainly further in the solar system, but ultimately to go to other star systems and just go out there and find out what's going on.
That's an important lesson of history. It's funny, the universe appears to be 13.8 billion years old. Earth is like 4.5 billion years old. You know, in another 500 million years or so, the sun will expand and probably evaporate the oceans and make life impossible on Earth, which means that if it had taken consciousness 10% longer to evolve, it would never have evolved at all. Just 10% longer. And I wonder how many dead one-planet civilizations there are out there in the cosmos that never made it to the other planet and ultimately extinguished themselves or were destroyed by external factors. Probably a few. Look again at that dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you've ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives. The aggregate of our joy and suffering, thousands of competent religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines, every hunter and forager, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of civilization, every king and peasant, every young couple in love, every mother and father, hopeful child, inventor and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived there, on a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam. Our planet is a lonely speck in the great enveloping cosmic dark. In our obscurity, in all this vastness, there is no hint that help will come from elsewhere to save us from ourselves. The Earth is the only world known so far to harbor life. There is nowhere else.
The part that I find personally most motivating is that it creates a sense of adventure and it makes people excited about the future. And if you consider two futures, one where we are forever confined to Earth until eventually something terrible happens, or another future where we are out there on many planets, maybe even going beyond the solar system, I think that second version is incredibly exciting and inspiring, and there need to be reasons to get up in the morning. You know, life can't just be about solving problems. Otherwise, what's the point?
The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, I thought, okay, this is a pretty good one. You know, just to sort of try to gain greater enlightenment over time, that seems like a good goal. If we don't really know what the meaning of life is, or even really what the right questions are to ask, but if we can improve our understanding of the universe, then eventually we can figure out what the right question to ask is. You know, if it's not meaning of life, it's something. You know,
The principles that Jesus advocated, and that there's great wisdom in the teachings of Jesus, and I agree with those teachings. And things like turn the other cheek are very important, because as opposed to an eye for an eye leads everyone blind. So forgiveness, you know, is important, and treating people as you would wish to be treated. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Very important.
So it's like a 60-70%
As-
yes?
As Einstein would say, I believe in the God of Spinoza. But hey, if Jesus is saving people, I mean, I wouldn't stand in his way. You know, like, I'll be sure, I'll be saved. Why not?
Sweet, we did it.
Yeah.
I think he just said yes.
We got him. All right, we got him.
That is our video for today. We hope you like it. Share all of your thoughts with us in the comments section below. Well, that's all for now. This is Big Tech Media. See you again tomorrow. Keep in mind to like, share, and subscribe.